Hi there, this is GCSE Physics, pressure. Title of this one's fluid pressure, and the objectives are to describe what pressure is and to recall the pressure equation and to solve problems via calculation. Remember, at any point, if you need to make any notes, just pause. Alright, let's make a start. So first of all, what is a fluid? So a fluid is simply a liquid or a gas. There are substances which can flow as the constituent particles are all able to move around. So what definitely isn't a fluid is anything that's a solid. So fluids are simply liquids or gases. So what is pressure? If force is applied to a surface, then there will be an associated pressure. Pressure acts at a right angle to the surface. So in this example on the right, the pressure is acting upwards and downwards, coincidentally. And the surface area of the pistons is at 90 degrees to it, or at a right angle. Pressure is defined as the force applied per unit area and is given by the equation pressure is equal to force applied divided by area. So the unit of force is measured in newtons, area is measured in square meters or meters squared. And pressure, if we look at the units, so force is newtons divided by area meters squared. So the unit of pressure is newtons per meter square, or don't mean to do that. Or pascals. So pressure is measured in pascals. So for example, 100 pascals of pressure is 100 newtons per square meter. Okay, let's move on. So we're going to do some questions in a moment, but let's look at the equation first in shorthand. So we can say P equals F over A. Pressure is force over area. Okay, so remember, pressure is in pascals or newtons per square meter or newtons per meter square. Force is in newtons, area in meters squared. If we want to rearrange to get force, we need to get rid of a divide by area. So instead of dividing by area, we need to get it to the other side. So we times by area. So force will be pressure times area. Okay. And then if we want to get area, we need to get rid of a times P. So area would be force. Instead of timesing by P, we're going to divide by pressure, like that. Okay. So we've got three versions of that equation there. If you need them and want to write them down, please do so. If you're in an exam and you can just remember the equation as P equals F over A, and you're not too good at maths, if you want to rearrange to find area, you can just think sneaky swap. So just swap them around. So area would be force over pressure. That might help. All right, let's do some example questions anyway. So you want to pause and have a go at these, and then I'll take you through the answers. So the first one, we're going to calculate the pressure when a force of 200 newtons acts on an area of 0.25 square meters. So this one's pretty straightforward. So pressure would be force over area. So I'm going to write that first. Then I'm just going to put my numbers in. So it's 200 newtons divided by 0.25 square meters. So 200 divided by a quarter would give us 800 pascals. You could have put newtons per meter square, it's up to you, but I'd probably go with pascals, to be honest. Second one, calculate the force applied when a pressure of 2 kilopascals acts on 0.035 square meters. So if pressure is force over area, we need to get rid of a divide by area. So force, so we need to do the opposite, which is times by area. So force is pressure times area. So the pressure is 2 kilopascals. Kilo means 1,000, so that's 2,000 pascals, times the area, 0.035, which gives us a force applied of 70 newtons. Okay, let's do another one. So the last one. So we've got 4 kilonewtons and 500 pascals. Calculate the area. So remember, if you could remember this in your exam, pressure is force over area. Area will be a sneaky swap with the pressure, so area is force divided by pressure. So the force is 4 kilonewtons, kilo meaning 1,000, so that's 4,000 newtons, divided by 500 pascals. So 4,000 divided by 500 gives us 8 meters squared. Okay, let's try two more, a little bit more difficult. So on this first one, we've got a calculated pressure, force of 2.4 kilonewtons, which is just times by 1,000. But then we've got a surface of 10 centimeters by 5 centimeters. So that's indicating that we're dealing with an area. So if we've got an area that's 10 centimeters by 5 centimeters, we need to convert them into meters. So that'd be 0.1 meters divided by 100 and 0.05 meters. So that gives us an area, we need to multiply them two together, of 0.005 square meters. And then we can do pressure is equal to force over area. So the force is 2.4 kilonewtons, so that's 2,400 newtons divided by 0.005 square meters, which gives us 480,000 joules. Joules? Pascals. I don't know why I said joules. Or 480 kilopascals. Okay. So next one. So this one's really tricky. So we've got to calculate the force applied under pressure of 1 MPa, so that's 1 megapascal, so that's million. So that'd be 1 with 6 zeros, pascals, or if you've done standard form, 1 million would be 1 times 10 to the power of 6 pascals. Either or, the same thing. And then the tricky thing is we've got to deal with the area, so we've got to convert that area from centimeters squared into meters squared. Now, depending what level mathematician you are, I can show you a relatively simple way to do that. So basically, I just need to know how many meters squared are in how many centimeters squared are in a meter squared. So we can do that using a little bit of logic. So we've got, if this is a square meter, so 1 by 1 meter, that gives us an area of 1 square meter. We just need to convert it into centimeters. So there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter, obviously on both sides, and then the area of that square in centimeters squared is 100 times 100. So 100 times 100 is 10,000. Centimeters squared. So we can see from that 1 square meter has 10,000 centimeters squared in it. So to go from centimeters squared to meters squared, we simply need to divide by 10,000. So I'm going to divide by 10,000. And that gives us an area in meters squared of 0.025 square meters. Now we can go back to our question. So that's 0.025. So force applied. So force is pressure times area. I've done that already. Times through by A. And then just multiply them together. So 1 megapascal is a million. So you can write 1 with 6 zeros, or 1 times 10 to the 6, times the area, 0.025 square meters. And that gives us a force that's equal to 25,000 newtons. Or 25 kilonewtons. Okay, so the next question is an extension question. You can have a go at it if you wish. So if you want to pause and have a go at this one. And I'm going to put a tip on in a moment. So if you don't want the tip, make sure you've paused already. So we need to do force divided by area. So the area of the head of the cylinder is a circle. So the formula for that is pi r squared. Okay, so if you want to have a go now, please do. Then I'm going to take you through the answer. So we need to use pi r squared to get the cross-sectional area. So the area is pi, which is on the calculator. There should be a shift pi if you've got a scientific calculator. If not, just use 3.142 maybe. Should be about the same. So area is pi r squared. So we've got 100 millimeters. So there's 1,000 millimeters in a meter. So 100 divided by 1,000 is 0.1 meters. So that'd be times 0.1 squared. So that gives an area that's equal to 0.0314159, etc. You can use the full number in the calculator. And then pressure. Pressure is simply force over area. You might have actually found this easier than the previous question. So the force is 50 kilonewtons, so that's 50,000. Divided by the cross-sectional area, which we just figured out, so 0.0314159, etc. So that should give us a pressure that's equal to, and it should get 159,1549 pascals. If you've got a scientific calculator, you can round that up. Well, you could round it up anyway, obviously, to 1 6 and then 1 2 3 4 5 zeros, or you could say 1.6 megapascals. If you've got a scientific calculator, there should be an ENG button, capital ENG. It's normally above the button, well, 7 and 8, it's above that. If you press that, it'll put it to standard form. So you could have also written for example, 1.59 times 10 to the 6 pascals. Either or. You would get away with that at GCSE. At A level, it would have to be one of the answers on the right hand side, most likely. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you found that helpful, and I'll speak to you soon.